Hello, everybody. She is in my Copenhagen metropolitan 10 o'clock a.m. And I have Sandeep with me from India, some sort of 5.5 hour before me or ahead of you. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to When East Meets West. And as you can hear, this is the first I'm started to speak in the morning, so I maybe lose my voice a little bit, but we are both very challenged. This is the second episode, and we haven't decided how many we will run, but most likely we will be running many, many episodes from now. Today, we have a very exciting topic. It's about burnout and living in this sort of new world with many geopolitical changes, with both AI and digital tools and etc., challenging people, companies, teams. People feel on the border to burnout. That is something both I and Sandeep face on daily basis. But before we start to discuss this topic openly, we hope all of you that are following us live show feel free to write in the chat and ask any questions that you have, because in that way we more easily can interact with you and also learn from you what topics and what questions you have. So you indeed help us to learn about you. So, Sandeep, we met in Porto. We already learned that in the other podcast in episode 1, but I like to repeat it because it was indeed, let's say, a surprise, because I came to Porto and I had no idea you existed. And only a month later, we're sitting here doing live recording. And as you so nicely said, Sandeep, we didn't exchange business cards. We exchanged ideas and a common vision, an idea to share the differences, how we from east to west can unite and learn from each other. And I actually got feedback yeah, from a good friend in Germany. She said, "But Tina, why do you call it east to west? It should be east to north." Yeah, and maybe, and I thought, yeah, well, actually, it could be east to north, yeah, but we decided to be east to west. But who are you, Sandy? My dear
Okay.
yeah. So I would just slightly say, from my perspective, Sandeep is a very warm-hearted, and an extreme, gentle, warm-hearted coach, as I see you, and the seminar workshop you gave was brilliant. And you say from LinkedIn, I take it there, that you're a conscious profitability or conscious growth coach that makes spirituality and money work together. So, with that said, I leave to you what you mean spirituality and money work together. What do you explicitly mean with that, Sandeep?
Okay, first of all, Tina, a big thank you for the lovely introduction
Yeah.
and a big namaste from India to all my friends world over. You see, I'm not saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening because of the time zone difference. So, one universal thing in India, namaste, which brings our two hands together, and that's more our gratitude for you joining us. Like Tina said, spirituality and money. We live in two worlds simultaneously, the inner world and the outer world.
Mm,
And the world is recognizing that. Spirituality is the food of the inner world,
mm,
it nourishes your inner world. And money is a product for the external world, which strengthens or secures your external world. And nature has designed them to work together to help us grow, evolve, and achieve, be successful. But unfortunately, for the last 2000 years, we have been living under a myth with a big lie that they cannot coexist. The truth is, they always coexisted and they have to coexist
mm,
because spirituality without money dies of hunger. You need money, right?
you need money. Mm,
Yes. And money without spirituality goes totally insane, goes mad, goes berserk, behaves like a wild animal,
mm,
which is not acceptable in any civilized society.
mm,
So, therefore, I am out breaking this myth. And let me also share one thing with you, which I would have shared later on.
Mm,
When both of them come together, magic happens. And there are a number of researchers, and one particular research which says when love, which is a part of spirituality, became the central point of an organization strategy, which means spirituality and money came together, they fused.
mm, mm,
That organization and the organizations like that organization outpaced the S&P 500 average by 10x to 15x in growth over a period of 10 to 12 years. Is that not exciting?
mm. It's very exciting. It's very
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah. Mm.
So, Tina, coming to our topic today, right?
Yeah, it's a hot topic. And I
It's a hot
thought,
topic.
yeah,
And the burnout illusion, right? And why well being
yeah.
programs fail and what really works.
Mm,
I'm loving this word illusion, burnout illusion, because though burnout is a reality, Tina, world over,
mm.
even in Sweden,
Yeah,
even in India, across the globe,
absolutely. It is. It is.
90% people in the world are facing burnout
Mm.
at some point of their life, today or tomorrow or yesterday, they have faced it. But are we really treating burnout or we are living in a bubble that we are treating burnout?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I, yeah, yes, it is. And I need to stick in and say I'm going to share something personal here. And I also like to share with you, Sandeep, that we have got a big heart from Niloufar here from LinkedIn. But you say burnout, is that an illusion? And I would say, hmm, yeah, I remember when I faced my burnout, and that is now 2009, something around 2009. So some years ago, I lost my hair, and I wasn't myself, and that was in my sort of transition in my life and career. And you say from your profile, spirituality, money work together, because I didn't have that. I had fear of being sort of unemployed in a way and not knowing if I would be able to manage my own economical situation because I was stuck in a system. And this is, we have different challenges. It's easy to say, yeah, but you get money from a support system in Sweden. Yeah, but you can be stuck in a system you can't control, which means that when you go into some sort of unemployment in my country, in many Western countries, you are stuck because they are controlling you that you must do certain things. So it's actually very difficult to break out of that system and say, I want a different sort of security. I want to start my company, maybe, because then you say no to the system. And that sort of feeling that I felt, I feel control. I can't move in the system, Sandeep, led to that I lost spirituality and trust that I could achieve myself because I couldn't, because I felt stuck. And that feeling led to burnout. And I can see with my clients here, Sandeep, that that is exactly what happened with many of them too. Instead of seeing the opportunity forward, if I trust my abilities, if I trust that I can fix things, I can do things, they start to step back and say, okay, I have to go to this unemployment agency and how do I keep the activity? Because if I don't keep the activity, I will lose my benefits. And that shifts the brain to the wrong focus. And it leads to burnout, a burnout feeling. So I'm coming out to that, Sandeep, with that story because I had to realize that my biggest, now realize here, Sandeep, this is interesting. My biggest hard neck when it comes to feeling less control and break loose from the system was in fact that I had a flat and my bank owed my flat. So I had, you know, to pay every month money to the bank. And that was my biggest hindrance at the time, this money situation I was put in. But if I had had any sort of logical person say, hey, Tina, cool down. We talk about this amount of money. How come you believe you couldn't get that money around? Connecting spirituality with some facts when it comes to money. So, with that said, I have a question I like you to, because this money and spirituality, I believe, is really this burnout, or could be an important factor in the Western world of a burnout illusion, keeping up appearance with what you have. And that can be very difficult in challenging times. What's your perspective on that take here, Sandeep?
I think it's a brilliant enumeration of the realistic situation that is prevailing world over. Okay,
Mm,
the way you have put it across, yes. But let me take a step back and let's talk of what is a burnout and why does it happen.
mm, mm,
You see, burnout is not a, I put it this way, burnout is a journey of different degrees. As you move
mm,
forward, you are getting burnt out.
mm.
You don't realize that you are getting burnt out unless you reach a particular level. So, in general, what is a burnout? When stress starts impacting your mental faculties and your ability to think straight, think productively, think rationally, think effectively and efficiently starts reducing, starts getting impacted. Like in your case, you said the stress of from where will I pay the mortgage or the
Yeah,
EMI,
yeah,
that impacted you, right?
yeah, yeah, deeply. It was sort of a controlling feeling. I couldn't think
Yeah.
beyond that box. Yeah.
And why does it happen?
Mm,
You see, yes, Tina is stressed. She can go to a coach, she can go anywhere, she can get some therapy, she'll be out of it, but that's only superficial, and that's what's happening
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. That's superficial.
The question is, why does burnout happen?
Mm,
You see, we live in two worlds, the inner world, like I said earlier, and the outer
mm,
world.
mm,
Now, the outer world is moving at its own pace, the inner world is in your hands.
mm.
Now, when there's a misalignment between your inner world and the outer world, you get stressed. You are besieged with fear. You are confused. And as the quantum of fear, confusion, which converts into anger, frustration, and then depression, distress, and then depression, ultimately you hang your boots and say, I can do nothing.
I can do nothing. Yeah. Mm,
And I am all fused up. So the solution, Tina, is not external. External is only a temporary solution.
it is. Mm,
This real solution is internal. And you see, last time in our episode, we talked of adaptability.
made it.
So the first thing is inculcating that adaptability inside yourself so that the external events do not disturb you
Mm,
and you can keep thinking straight.
mm,
So my focus would be in helping companies or is while helping company or my clients is to get to the root cause.
mm.
Okay, let me give you an example. Just a moment, Tina. Can I have a glass of water?
Absolutely. And I would like to stick in because I have something to follow up with here. I
Yeah,
think could come beautiful in here.
yeah.
And that is that because we're pointing out is you come to my next sort of not question but sort of statement, and that also can where I think organizations do the wrong thing. They buy these outer support. Yeah, they buy out. So, and that outer sort of support they bring in to the organizations can cause even more stress. And I will let you know what I'm up to here. That is that they are buying. You can go to yoga, you can do Pilates, you can have a coach. They invest a lot in well-being, and they talk a lot about well-being, and they talk about all challenges both men and women can have. So it's they really expose it. And then I have also heard from clients actually they are told you
Mm,
have to be more optimistic, you have to be careful about the feedback so we don't destroy the atmosphere or whatever. And with that said, you actually stress the people even more because you push a pressure on them. And this is something I had learned myself when someone said to me,
mm,
Tina, you have to be part of our well-being program. And I thought, don't put that pressure on me. I already have a lot to do, and I'm a fitness instructor.
mm,
I don't
mm.
want to do yoga. I don't want to do that. That's not my way of getting out of burnout. So I believe it's easier. And this is adding on to what you said. Companies and organizations, they add on. And human resources and managers think we do a good thing. We bring in these speakers and they talk about it. But it doesn't help the inner world of every single person sitting there because they have their own challenges. So they actually put a burden on a lot of these people sitting there. And this is my feeling from, learning from all my clients, but also from my own experience. And I want your take on that, Sandeep. Yeah.
Tina, usually I give the example. I say, okay,
Yeah.
your child is throwing a tantrum for a chocolate, okay, and is not
Yeah.
studying, saying, oh, I want a
Yeah.
chocolate, only then I'll do my homework. Okay, now the problem is putting him, uh, injecting discipline in him. So what do? You give the child a chocolate plus an ice cream plus a Coke,
Yeah.
thinking
Mm,
that if I appease the child will do the homework. No, because what is stopping the child from doing the homework is not the ice cream or the Coke. That's only an excuse not to do it. The child lacks the motivation or the
mm,
discipline to do the homework. Now, what are the
mm.
companies doing? Companies are doing the same thing.
Same finger. Mm,
Take TCS, Tata Consultancy Services in India. They spend a lot of money, on these welfare schemes, etc., etc. And then they said, oh, the productivity has not gone up.
mm,
How will the productivity go up? Because you did not ask what do the clients want.
mm. What they need.
Yes,
Need.
uh, uh, right? And the clients want
Yeah.
productivity. And then you
Yeah.
got to look into why the productivity is not going up.
Mm,
The productivity is not going up because the people are not performing. And why are
mm,
the people not performing? Because there is something inside them and they're feeling
mm,
neglected. They're not feeling valued.
mm, mm,
Let me, I would give you a real life example. One of my clients, uh, had a turnover of, let's say, 3 billion. Now they wanted to, sorry, not billion, million, 3 million. They wanted to take it to 30 million in 2 years' time. Now,
mm,
most of the employees in that organization were they were coming from the government sector. 10% growth every year, 15% growth was brilliant growth. It was time for party. So now hearing this thing that okay, RMD is looking for such a phenomenal, unachievable sort of a target, the morale of the organization, the enthusiasm fell deeply. So when I investigated, what I found, they were feeling neglected. They were not feeling
mm,
as a part of the decision making.
mm, mm,
So as an intervention, what we did, me and my team, we got the entire, there were 32 people, all the 32 people into a room,
mm,
gave them the vision, mission, values exercise, and made it a participative thing and a participative decision making process. Now, since the vision, mission, values exercise was aligned with the goal of the organizations, after
mm,
the 3 days workshop or intervention, these guys were full of excitement. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it.
mm, mm,
And what was the turning point? Besides this participativeness, the turning point was I asked everyone, tell me the strengths of the organization. Around 15 strengths came out. Then I said, okay, now tell me the three strengths which you bring to the organization. So everyone gave their three strengths. So when you scored out the common strengths, what was left? 60 plus strengths were left. A simple question without any sermon or without any motivation. If these 60 strengths come together, what will happen?
mm,
In unison, they said,
mm,
we will achieve the 30 million and we can do it. Okay,
mm,
if you can do it,
mm, mm.
let's put the mission, vision, values together. How do we do it?
Together, and there, if we connect that to, because I'm listening to you, and for those of you listening here now, that there is no quick fix. When you say that we have to fix from the surface, we buy the leadership program, we do the well-being program, we invite speakers, it will not give an effect that lasts. And I will give you and share with you, because that's a
Can I just
beautiful
chime in
example
for a
to take.
minute? There's
Yeah, no, just once. Yeah, I'd just like to get in here. We talk about adaptability, and I like to add on, as you said, with the adaptability intelligence. That is that when people say that you need to be more optimistic, when you give a person that sort of command, I would actually, you have to feel more optimistic, then you don't go to the core why the person might not be. So if you now take the assessment I'm running, where we call it adaptability intelligence, that is that we can actually measure with that the hope in the organization, the optimism in the organization, and how people play to win or play to protect. And we know when organizations go through sort of rough times, people react differently. But by learning from, if I were a CEO and I would get, sort of result from my team, because this is on team level, and I see I have different teams, and they are very low in hope, very low in optimism, and the innovation rate is very low. But maybe there are some individuals that are sitting being frustrating, being the entrepreneurs, but they are not noticed in the organization. Because as you said before we started this podcast here, that is that, okay, it maybe is not always the loudest people that are the change gamers. It can be the silent person sitting in a corner that is that entrepreneur. So I think we need to invest much more carefully in organization, and adaptability is one of these sort of, we can measure it and we can actually know and figure out what teams, what individuals that can drive, if I put it that way. And if I, as a CEO, just polish the surface, I will not get the result out, as you said. You need to work with the people for many days and have a plan and have a strategy. Yeah.
Right, what you say, I totally resonate with what you say. Again, I give an example like, okay,
Mm,
there's a tree in your garden. It's infested by white ants. You can keep cutting the branches, you can keep cutting the leaves, you can keep, injecting whatever you want. It'll be a temporary relief. The white ants would resurface, would reappear, there would
mm,
be a resurgence.
mm,
So if you want to get rid of the white ants, you've got to go to the root of the problem,
mm,
uproot the tree, and plant a new one. So when it comes to burnout, my personal feeling is, and this is what I believe, that burnout is not a workplace problem. Burnout is a human problem, number one.
Mm.
You got to deal with the human. Number two, at the workplace, it is not an individual's problem, it is a culture problem.
Could we say it's a systematic problem in the
A
company?
culture problem,
It's a
systematic.
signal of systematic
Yes.
problem.
Now,
Mm,
why do these initiatives fail? You see, if you really see, it's a very funny situation. Every second day, there's a new app to manage burnout. Healers, coaches, right, therapists are mushrooming world over to help people with burnout. Still, the burnout graph is rising. Is this not very paradoxical?
mm,
More and more resources are coming into society, still, the burnout graph is rising. Why?
mm, mm,
Because everyone is trying to treat the symptoms, not the root cause.
mm, mm,
And what are the root causes? Or why do these well being programs fail or are failing? Number one, you give all these incentives. It could be, say, meditation, or could be a well being program, or picnics, or whatever it is, without any cultural alignment. You say, okay, Saturday, Sunday, you guys are doing this, but what about the balance 5 days? So, so you are maintaining the old culture, the old systems,
the systematic, it's a systematic
right?
thing.
What
Yeah.
you need to do is you need to fuse the new initiatives within that system. Number two, policy without purpose. And this is the reason, I was talking about the root cause. Okay, it's great. Let's have uh, policies, which help us in improving the mental health of the organization. But then what is the purpose behind it? Be very clear of the purpose. If the purpose is to increase productivity, probably the steps might be different.
Mm,
If the purpose is just for the people to feel happy, the steps could be different. The initiatives could
mm,
be different. So, usually, the purpose is not well defined. Everyone is talking of mindfulness. Yes, mindfulness is very essential. It's extremely essential for high productivity. You've got to be present. But then, are you helping them internally to become mindful? Which you are not. Treating burnout as an HR project. Now, burnout is not an HR project, burnout is a human project. And lastly, confusing comfort with care.
mm,
You see, you are confusing comfort with care. You're giving me some comfort, okay? Right? I need comfort, and you are giving me care. So there are two different things. Care is different, comfort is different.
I like to go back here, Sandeep, to what the title says on the podcast, when East meet West, or is East meets North, because this is how we could learn from each other. So I think, sharing from our experience here and so it's important. And I think, if I look on the West, if I just take the West side of what I think is going on, that's typical from the Western culture, understanding that West is huge, and we have, of course, Sweden has differences from Germany,
Hmm.
UK, and particularly United States. But I would say that we are, a bit of, let's say, culture patterns is individual freedom. Also, it's very sort of high self optimization, and that our identity in many companies, particularly in the area I'm active in, which is engineering and IT, it's tied to performance. Yeah, that creates burnout because we are productivity and efficiency obsessed. And it's also so that we have an overuse many organizations. We need to rush into new tools. Oh, we need to use AI. We have to change to digital tools. That means that many people in the organization are overloaded cognitively, if I put it that way. And also that we feel, and this is something I learned from many of my clients that are high performers, obsessed to have an empty email box or scared to empty it at all. So there's sort of no discipline in how do I communicate. And also that companies have more and more and more channels to communicate on. There's some sort of overload in information, and that you always have to be reachable. You are afraid, if I'm not reachable, if I'm not part of this, then if I'm not part of the communication, if I'm not part of what's happening in the other department, and I'm out, I will not, I will lose my job, or I don't have enough information. That is sort of, I said, feeling I have to be always on. And then it is the leadership. You know, the leadership level, they need to be relaxed in the fact that many leaders say, I'm not the expert here, I'm a facilitator. So they focus more on the people than being the expert themselves. So they support their teams by being more integrated in their teams and say, no, I have you guys because you are the experts in my team. I facilitate you and I help you. So, in that sense, when you have this sort of overbalanced system in performance and digital tools and connecting to more sort of, I call it overachieving in companies and moving leadership for perfection, team performance to perfection, using the best tools, not good enough, people go for burnout and the leaders go to burnout because they feel they're never good enough. And I said, there is no leader that should be optimized to be good enough. As a leader or manager, you should just be a human and help the team. So you can have people feeling burnouts. I would say they start to overanalyze. They see the tree, but not the forest. And also that they feel that they can be replaced. They don't see the value they have, and people get scared and anxious in organizations. And this, I like to add, and Sadib, comes together with that now, at least in my country, everyone is talking about psychological safety. And I say, you can't have psychological safety if you're telling people you have to be more optimistic. I must be able to go to Sandeep, that is my manager, and say, I am not optimistic because of. And you should reprimand me. You should be curious about me so I can share it. That's psychological safety. So, yeah, that's my take on the Western world. So, what is your take on the Eastern world if we connect it now?
Okay. Now, look, with the internet playing such a huge role, right?
Yeah,
Apparently, on the face of it, especially in the IT industry,
yeah,
technological industries or spheres, I think the challenges are the same. That East and West divide is over. But if we
yeah.
step back, what is driving the Western mind and what is driving the Eastern mind?
Mm.
There's the difference, and this is the reason
That's a
that the
difference. Yeah.
East and the West they react
Mm.
differently.
Yeah.
Number one, in the East, now two things are there. Like let me take India for an example. India has been a slave country for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
For 1,000 years, it has been ruled by invaders, the
Mm.
Muslims, the Mughals, then the Muslims, then the British. So India is only 75 years old.
Mm.
So, number one, it's sort of a new freedom. And when a person gets new freedom, the person wants to go out and prove himself and get acknowledged and overexerts. So, what is happening in India? Overexertion is happening.
Mm.
And overexertion means overestimation of self,
Mm.
overpromise,
Overpromise. Yeah. Mm.
over self expectations,
mm,
a false image, disconnect from reality. All
mm,
these things do create burnout. Okay.
mm,
Number two, because India has been a slave country, right? And
mm.
unfortunately, we have not been able to get rid of this tendency. Everything is fine.
Yeah, harmony. Yeah,
Everything
harmony.
is fine.
Everything's fine. Yeah.
I made a
Yeah.
mistake. Come on, don't. Okay, you made a mistake. So that thinking ability, recognizing acceptance is rather
Mm.
low. Or in the West, on the contrary, achieve, achieve, achieve.
Achieve, achieve, achieve. Yeah. Mm,
So, on one side, overexertion, everything is fine, achieve, achieve, achieve. The other way, they are the two drivers of burnout in both the countries. Number two, when it comes to philosophical solution, which is in reality a psychological solution,
mm,
in
mm,
the East, we believe peace, peace helps you to succeed. Happiness helps you to succeed.
mm,
In the West, they say success breeds happiness.
exactly. Mm.
So
Just work harder. Just work
let's work
harder.
harder.
Work hard in school. Yeah. And
Now,
then you will be happy.
you were talking about
Yeah.
the psychological
Yeah. Yeah.
safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Mm,
let me tell you how peace, happiness
yeah.
makes you safe. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll give you the 4S formula to test any relationship, especially for the managers and the leaders. Okay. Number one, you see, when you're happy, what happens? The neurons inside you see, they behave in a very different way. You are more accepting, you are more inclusive, you are more forgiving, you are thinking better, you are not stressed, and you're thinking better. There's space inside you. Happiness creates a space inside you.
Mm,
Okay. And that space helps you to think better, accept better, be more inclusive, be more forgiving. So there's more cohesiveness and you get internal, external support. So success becomes easier. And when you're not happy, you're stressed, your mental faculties are getting impacted. Okay. So, and this is the reason in the East, there is so much importance given to mindfulness, there's so much importance given to meditation, there's so much importance given to be with yourself. And when you are with yourself, what happens? You start, detaching your ego driven stances or your ego driven reactions from the episode. So, what happens? The reality comes in front of you, number one, which needs to be addressed, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, and the ego gets detached from it so that whatever action you take hits the bullseye. So, and number two, how do you test the relationship from the psychological safety dimension? Four S's. Number one, seen. S stands for seen. Are you seeing the person as he or she is? Is the person seeing me as I am, or is seeing me through filters? Just imagine, Tina, if when are you the happiest? You are the happiest when someone sees you as you are, does not see you in parts. Okay, Tina, the 50% is fine, 50% needs improvement. You'll say, no, I'm 100%. So one is seen. Number two is security. Do I feel emotionally safe with the person? Can I go to the person and speak out everything without the fear of being judged or assessed? Number three, safety. Am I physically safe with this person? And lastly, S, that is soothe. When I am in distress, when I'm in distress, does the other person's presence calms me or disturbs me further? All I say is if leaders battling with burnout, not personally, in the team, in the organization, or with relationship issues, if they start practicing these 4S formula, seen, security, safe, and soothe, you
So come here, Sandeep, to connect it here now. So we see west and east, and I would say that what I learned from the east, then it's overdrive,
Mhm,
and that you strive for harmony, maybe, and that you don't question because you strive for harmony.
mhm,
So in that sense, there will be some sort of quiet quitting. But go back to the topic when East made West, and when it comes to what we can learn from each other. And I think that if we're going to learn from each other, we need to understand each other. And I see that with many of my clients, because many of my clients, they come from your country. And what I have to help them with usually is to be less technically focused, particularly if we talk about STEM people,
mhm,
engineering, IT. We have many of those here in Sweden, I know in Europe in general. And I say, first of all, you have to give me feedback as your coach. You have to tell me what you feel. You have to tell me, yeah. And that I have learned is very, very difficult for some because they said, help me to just tell me what to do so I can show how good I am. And I said, well, that is good, but that's only one aspect of it. The other aspect is that they're going to work with you. So they need to know if you fit into the team. Yeah. And it's not always about overperforming. It's actually to give feedback and take feedback even to your manager. Yeah. Yeah. That is some of these, let's say, challenges I have when I try to speak with it. It's not only people, of course, from India, but in the Western world, we talk about efficiency and performance. But if you take my country, Sweden, it's also extremely important that you are efficient and perform in the team. But but that also means that if I don't know how to take that and how to explain that, but it's sort of a performance both to try to fit in the consensus sort of world, and then try to fit in to perform technically.
mhm,
And if you then don't know where the organization is going, then of course it will be very, very, very hard to know what is the purpose and what is the mission and the vision of the company if everything I do is trying to fit in, both overperforming technically and then trying to fit in as a person and take the feedback that stay optimistic. And I don't feel optimistic. So what I'm trying to say is that we have an east and west, and that is how we can learn to understand each other, because I believe if we understand each other, we can also compensate each other's weaknesses and strength. Because I believe the way you have from the East, a little bit of striving for harmony, striving for, okay, let it go, could be a good way for many Swedish colleagues and Western people. Let it go. You can't impact it. You can't change it. Let it go. See it more as an agile process, Let it go, see what happened after a week, and then take the feedback after a week. And that is sort of could be a nicer way of working if we could learn from that sort of let it go. Yeah. And I believe as when you listen to you, this is a little bit part of your culture. Let it go, for good or bad, of course. But to implement that a little bit in our Western world where everything is about performance and efficiency and striving to, be the best, let it go. What do you think about that?
well, let it go. But the thing is,
Let it go.
But the thing is that the better word is integration, not
Integration is a better word. Yeah, we should integrate it. Yeah,
not
yeah.
harmony. The entire Eastern
Mm.
philosophy is all about integration.
Integration.
Okay, and what emerges out of the Eastern philosophy in modern terms? I'll not talk of the
Mm. Yeah,
philosophy
yeah,
as
of
the
course.
ancient wisdom. But
No, no,
I'll
the
talk in
modern
modern
version.
terms, right? Leaders need to remember one word: faces. FACES. And they need to bring faces into their purpose, thoughts, and actions.
Mm,
Now, what does faces stands for? F stands for flexibility. A stands for adaptability.
mm,
C stands for coherence. They've got to integrate everything, you see, because an organization, there are different departments, different verticals, everything needs to be synchronized. Coherence has to be there. Energy and stability. I repeat, flexibility, adaptability, coherence,
mm,
energy, and stability.
mm. Okay, and with those words, the time is out. So we have to say thank you for following us here on the live stream, and we will be back discussing other topics. And I, Tina Persson, here from Copenhagen Metropolitan, and Sandeep say thank you a lot. Have a wonderful Saturday. And with those last words from you, Sandeep, thank you for being here,
Well,
and
I,
we'll see each other again.
I,
Yeah.
I'll give the five conscious shifts,
So, okay. Thank you a
to
lot.
our audience. Number one, move from wellness activities to wellness culture. Move from wellness activities to wellness culture. Number two, move from workload dumping to workload designing. Number three, move from hustle to healthy ambitions. Number four, move from 24 by 7 availability to clear boundaries. People do need, they have a personal life, they have a life of their own, certain boundaries. And lastly, move from individual fixing to collective responsibility.
Mm, mm, mm.
So, with this,
Okay. Thank you. We are over time, Sandeep. So thank you a lot. I'm closing the stream and see you and hear from us again. Bye bye.
thank you. Bye bye.